Welcome to this lecture, and here we will start our discussion on SAP Lumira by taking a tour of the data visualization environment. We're going to be looking at a sample report created by SAP so that we get a taste of the different functionalities offered by Lumira and we see an end-to-end data analysis cycle in action. So let's double click on this. And here we're going to first take a look at the Prepare tab. The Prepare tab is going to be the first step in our data analysis cycle. We're going to be preparing our data by cleaning and filtering out the records that we don't want to submit to our visualization engine. For example, we can get rid of all the records that do not have a region filled in, or we can filter out all the records which do not fall in the month of December. Once we're done filtering out our data, we can move on to the visualization aspect. Inside our visualization step, we're going to be able to turn the thousands of records that we have into a pictorial representation. Here we have many different subsections on the screen and we'll be exploring those right now. Let's take a look at the measures. The measures you can think of basically like the numbers inside your report. So the discount is going to be a specific number, gross margin is going to be a specific number, and we're going to be exploring measures in a later lecture in much more depth. The dimensions over here you can see as labels inside your reports. So the city you can see as a label, and you can assign each of these measures to a label. So if you assign sales revenue to city, it is going to give you the sales revenue by city in which you're selling. Those sorts of things you can do. And if you see here where we are going to be looking at the data sets in use section, this is exactly what we're doing. We're assigning the gross margins measure to a specific country. So all the countries in which we sell our products, we can take a look at the gross margins by country and then compare it to the rest of these countries we have. In this top section, we can select the specific graph that we want to be displaying. Currently, we're displaying this geographic heat map, and the other kinds of graphs available to us are going to be the bar charts, the line graphs, the pie charts, the other kind of heat maps that we have, and also the box and whisker plots. Here, obviously, you see our visualization, and this is going to be interactive in the sense that you can zoom in and you can zoom out, and if you right click, you can do choosing of colors, legends, titles, and all those aspects. On this map, we're going to be showing a legend which explains exactly how the coloring system is working. So all the darker colored countries are going to be having higher gross margins and the lighter colored countries have lower gross margins, and all those things you can understand from the legend. However, this is actually not the only visualization you can create from this dataset. You can create a series of different visualizations. So if I come here, we have the same exact dataset. However, we have just changed over the visualization to a bar chart type of visualization. If you come here, you can see we have the bar chart. However, we have switched out the measure to sales revenue, and you can see the US is leading this. Next is India, United Kingdom, and they're going to be stacked in a descending order. If I come down to another kind, you can see this is going to be the plotting of specific points. So all of these points have been plotted here, and we'll look at one last one before we move on to the compose section. This sort of visualization actually is one of the most effective ways of communicating data, and you can see our sweatshirts are going to be colored the darkest. This is similar to the geographic heat map, except this is not going to be actually countries. These are going to be the separate categories or the separate labels that we have inside our data. So let's move along to the compose section. The compose step is going to be where we generate reports on our data. This is going to be the last step of our data analysis cycle. And here we can drag over the visualizations that we created in the last step to create this report. We can also drag over text bars, and we can also drag over pictures that we can upload to this report. And if you come over to one of these visualizations, if I double click here, and if I zoom into this visualization, and if I go over to the Russia map, you can see we can also interact with these visualizations. Now you might think, we're going to be printing out these reports. How is this going to remain interactive? And the key aspect here is the reports you generate are oftentimes going to be shared on what is called the Lumira team server. So that's how you're going to communicate these reports within your team. And if you want to send these reports out to managers, you're going to be sending them out to the tablets and the mobile applications that Lumira has created, and they're going to be able to interact with these reports there. Thank you for joining me on this lecture. And here we walk through the three-step data analysis cycle, starting with the preparation and the cleaning of data, then going on to the visualization of our data, and finally creating reports which we can then send out to our managers and communicate within our team members.